I love you.
Caught you in a burp there, did I?
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, Couch Potatoes. So happy to always see you coming in through that door. Today, normally when we do these stare goes, we're happy that we're doing new releases. Don't get me wrong. We're so happy to do new releases. I love being able to see new films. Makes me so happy. But normally when we pit two of these new films together, in my mind, there's a clear winner. And I think I know who I'm going to choose today.
Okay.
But both of these were a bit of a struggle to get through.
Oh, you think so? Okay, so
I think so.
Okay. So a struggle is not the right term for my experience because I enjoyed them, but my lord.
It's totally fair.
One of them in particular.
Yeah. I can totally agree with you. Struggle was not the correct word I was looking for because I did have fun with both films.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had fun for the wrong reasons. and that's not to say neither of them are not. Man, I'm getting lost in my double negatives. That's not to say that either of them are incompetent.
Right.
But boy, do we have a lot to talk about today, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you also for joining us on the couch, though. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. And
I am the Faceless Leon. I'm a person.
Are you?
Well, I mean, in the, I have intelligent thought category. And
you're sentient.
Sentient, yeah.
You think,
I
therefore,
feel like
you
a
are.
lot of people would give the person title to that, I have a personality.
Like that is a very human thing to, like, force personality onto things. Like, we like to anthropomorphize.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphize?
Yes, they do. Those
that
humans.
Big word that I learned in elementary school when we read 1984.
On Gorsh?
Wait, no, Animal Farm. Animal Farm. Sorry. We really like to read human literature. It's really funny to us.
Wow.
Especially George Orwell.
Especially just because he's so wrong. I mean, Jesus. This is a podcast about movies and TV. We already said it was about new movies today, so we're moving forward.
That's correct. And you came here to hear us talk about Black Widow and the Tomorrow War. We're pitting Disney versus Amazon Prime this time. Normally we pit it against like Netflix or HBO Max, but we went all the way to Amazon Prime for this one.
Yeah,
I mean, mainly because they have Chris Pratt. So
yeah, I wanted to know what Chris Pratt was doing over there.
Yeah, this is the big battle right here, guys. This is Black Widow versus Star-Lord. That's his name.
Yeah.
Peter Quill. That's
right.
His name.
That's his name. Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Buff guy who came out of The Office. Wait.
No.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
I never watched either of the shows. You can go ahead and crucify me, everybody.
Well, I'll just a little bit because let me tell you, there is a big, huge negative energy in The Office. I'm not a big fan, so you can go ahead and crucify me as well. I'm not a big fan of the energy that show puts off for me.
See, I have seen more of the English version with Ricky Gervais than I've seen of the American version, and it's only because I don't enjoy Ricky Gervais, I just enjoy Ricky Gervais's humor. I think too. He has a very criticizing bite to him that I love.
yeah, he's
but
very
then at the
cynical.
same time, I also hate him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about him personally, really. I don't know
I only hate him because he's an atheist who likes to get into fights. Not really. He's kind of grown out of that, but he has that Bill Maher kind of like. And I used to be this way when I first came out as an atheist when I was young. I felt like I had to, stand my ground and exactly and explain to people why they're the stupid ones. But then as I got older, I realized I don't have I can be critical of certain things about religions, but I don't have to criticize people for having religion because I really respect that idea. Yeah. Like I understand why people have faith in things and I want to encourage that. but I just personally have faith in science and tangible objects.
Yeah.
But Bill Maher and Ricky Gervais, they're the kind of people that are just like, I am going to spend the next 30 minutes making you feel like a dumbass.
You dumb believer. Yeah. Why do you believe? Stop that.
But Ricky's grown out of that a little bit. So, I can give him more of a chance, I guess. I've always liked his comedy, though.
Of Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. I'm putting off movies so hard.
I was going to say Parks and Rec, to mirror The Office. Super warm show. I mean, they do really bully this one character in particular, but I feel like it comes pretty full circle at the end. So if that stuff does kind of bother you, I feel like Jerry gets his reward at the end of the show. But anyhow, Andy Dwyer, honestly, is one of my favorite all-time characters. So,
and that's Pratt?
That's Pratt, yeah.
Nice.
But I honestly, it took me a while to get on the Parks and Rec train.
Well, see, like, everybody keeps telling me I have to get to season 2, and I hate when people say that, when it's like, it doesn't get, it's not good in season 1, you just skip that and go to season 2. I have OCD. I cannot do that. If I watch anything, if I watch anything, I have to watch all of it, and if the show doesn't grab me within the first, say, 24 fucking episodes, I'm out! Yeah. And I've tried watching, I can't remember how many episodes are in season 1 of Parks and Rec, but I know I watched probably like a good amount, and was like, I'm laughing maybe twice or 3 times an episode. That's not worth my 20 minutes. And so I outed. And everybody's like, no, you gotta wait. And I'm like, I can't wait. I put up with all of the filler of Dragon Ball Z. If I can't put up with your freaking show for the first season, it's saying something.
I don't know. I feel like anything to do with Ron Swanson just allows that show to live in those first couple seasons. But once Rob Lowe jumps on board, damn, the show just really takes off from there.
Well, that's fair. But that's the beauty of the internet, is all those Ron Swanson moments, I can watch them in 2-minute clips.
That's true.
So I know so much about Ron Swanson because I love that character, but I haven't watched any of the shows.
And then you start watching the show when Ben Wyatt and, man, I can't remember Rob Lowe's character's name, but I couldn't remember the actor's name for Ben Wyatt. Well, anyway, secret review of Parks and Rec and The Office. Here we go. We're talking about Black Widow, though.
Black Widow first. That's correct. Again, it's kind of a spy film, or at least it has enough spy touches that portion of my brain. And the beauty of Black Widow, by the way, everybody, is that this is the first film in close to, well more than a year and a half that you and I have watched together. First new release that I guess it would have been a year, because I think we watched Tenet together, didn't we?
No, I did not go to see that.
You didn't watch Tenet. Didn't we watch another film together though?
We did.
No, because we watched Jurassic Park and
it was Jurassic Park and Jaws.
Right, nothing new. So yeah, this is a year and a half of us not going to a theater together, and we still didn't go to a theater for Black Widow. We paid that egregious $30 fee that Disney thinks is necessary, even though all the other streaming services release their new releases for free. Thank you, HBO Max and Amazon Prime and all of you other guys. Disney, pay us, but also go fuck yourself.
Hey, Luca was there. Luca, they gave us Luca.
Luca was free. But see, that's like, what kind of statement are you saying? What's the message?
Yeah, it was a pretty good movie too. So yeah, I don't know.
It was.
I would say, I don't know. I enjoyed going though to Theater Day Greg and having the Zelda lap warmer, which I was bequeathed whether I wanted it or not. But...
Yeah, she's really good about that. She gets right up on the couch, no matter if a human's there or not, and claims a spot.
She's cute. I miss her.
It was fun. It was fun having people over. The only problem was I am a talker, and if we're not in a theater atmosphere, even if it's a new film, I just can't help myself. I talk. I live alone, so it's like it's when I'm with people, it goes.
I think having the subtitles on though makes it okay.
Yeah.
Like, because then if somebody's like not really involved in the conversation and is watching the film, they don't necessarily miss what's said because it's up there on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they miss the intentions of the actors. Maybe. So I guess they, still an argument for being annoyed, which I understand. I'm so sorry to your wife for always talking.
But I was doing it too.
Yeah, I goad you though. But that was a bit of a problem though for me because, first new release I've watched in a while with people in my house or with me at a theater and that atmosphere. So I did, as you can attest, have some confusion at the beginning. I think once I figured it out, we were fine. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I understand who's who. Because I had thought you learn in Black Widow right off the bat that she has a sister. Yeah, she has a younger sister who, when they grow up, because this is a flashback, the one big issue with Black Widow is they just don't fucking understand where they're at in the time period. I mean, they do. They really do. But there's so many like weird flashbacks throughout everything that it's just like, just stop. This movie already should not be coming out at the time it is. It should have come out after Civil War.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I get that they hadn't made it then, but still, that was the time period for this story.
Yeah. Now
that she is, spoilers for Endgame and the rest of the MCU, fucking dead, putting out a movie that really doesn't do much to advance anything in the MCU at this time period seems really fucking weird. But I'm sure everybody else on the internet has already bitched about that, so I won't go... I'm sure we'll continue to bitch about that later, but right now I won't go too much into that. But you find out early on that she has a younger sister. You see her and her younger sister, who will be played by Florence Pugh when they grow up, who is in Midsommar. Love Florence Pugh. She's amazing, and oddly was the best part about this film. You would think the Black Widow movie, Scarlett Johansson, an A-lister, would have been the best part of this film. She's not. It's Florence Pugh, who was fucking great every second she was on the screen. So funny.
She was great.
Yeah, and I love her making fun of Black Widow's like superhero landing.
That was exactly what I was thinking about, and what I was about to
it's
talk
good
about.
Stuff. And then she does it to herself later, and she's just like, "Nope,
you're posing. Why do you do this? Would you whip your hair?"
That's another thing to complain about, the accent work throughout everything. She's okay. Florence Pugh's passable Russian accent. Ray Winstone, who comes as the villain later on, he is a Harvey Weinstein-esque villain, and I don't get it. Like, there wasn't much of an attempt at a Russian accent, I felt like, with him. Like, I don't know. Again, I was surrounded by people. I haven't watched this since since a week or so. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but I don't remember his accent game being that fucking great in this movie.
Huh. I don't feel like I noticed it anyways. I
mean, he is a decent message of a villain, but in regards to the entire MCU, he is yet another piss poor villain for a film. I'm recalling now too, and he did have more of a British accent, it felt like. But you learn early on, you see how Black Widow was raised, her and Florence Pugh. What's her sister's name in this? Yelena.
Yelena.
Yelena?
It's
with a Y?
Yelena. Yelena Belova.
I'm sticking with Florence Pugh. So you learn you learn early on how her and the Black Widow were raised. Their family were undercover spies in America, I believe.
Yep.
In the intro, and like
or Canada. I think it's
Canada.
America, though.
Maybe the eastern or western countries. Fuck. Anyways.
So good at this.
She gets I don't know, everything dissolves, and she becomes part of the Red Room, which we've heard about in Age of Ultron, I believe it was. I can't remember.
So I forgot.
Yeah, the MCU blends together after a while. There's so many fucking films. But we see her progressing into the Black Widow, and then I guess I can't synopsis it because I can't really remember how things get underway, because she learns of Ray Winstone's scheme, I think. Like he has all these Black Widows under control kind of thing.
So she, I think she's actually going just into hiding after Civil War. She's going into hiding.
Right. Yeah, her and the Avengers are no longer friends.
Yeah, but at the very least, at some point, she runs into Yelena, and Yelena is actually just broken free. A big theme in this movie is mind control. She's broken free from this mind control and made Natasha aware that the mind control has become more intense since she left.
Yeah, because Ray Winstone is in charge, and he has control over all these women assassins.
Right.
All these, I think he even calls them his widows. Like they're all...
Yeah, they're his widows. He can do what he wants with them. You said earlier you don't think he's a very strong villain. I disagree, because he really just represents like everything. The message is good about men. Yeah, the patriarchal suppression of women. That's what
in regards to the message he represents. That's great. In regards to him as a villain, he is a complete piss wash. He is a joke.
Really weak person. Like his character is weak.
Him as a villain just joins all of the other Marvel villains outside of like Loki and Thanos, who are just like, who is that movie's villain again? Oh, right. It was Ray Winstone. That's right. Yeah. I completely forgot about that. Because I mean, he's just a fat white guy, and like, I mean, he's not even like Kingpin awesome and fat. Like, he's just a fat white guy.
Yeah, his only power is political espionage. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he sweats stuff that makes women not be violent to him. That's
not a superpower though. That's part of the brain control.
Yeah, I know. It's dumb as shit, because here's the thing. You've smelled me. You can't commit violence to me. All right, I'm going to back up 20 feet where I can't smell you anymore, and I'm going to shoot you in the fucking head. I'm a fucking assassin. Duh. And then she even mentions that, too. She's like, I can walk over there. And he's like, well, that wouldn't work that well. And she's like, why not? Pheromones. And it's just like, it's not how it works, bud. Like, she could walk out of the room and shoot you through a fucking window and it'd be fine. It doesn't make sense.
I don't mind what they do with it, though, because it does make Natasha look a little bit badass, but she is such a poser. Like, I love the call out from Yelena is great.
Yeah,
about that.
I agree. It's funny, but yeah, there's so many things she could have done in the situation that we're talking about, where, you know, she looks like a badass, that she didn't have to do that way. She could have just taken tissue papers and put them up her nose. No, she has to be a badass. It's just silly. But yeah, her and Florence, they gather their fake Russian family together, which includes the Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, who is hilarious in this as well.
Yes.
And their fake mom, I don't remember her name, but she's played by Rachel Weisz.
Melina is her name.
So Melina and Yelena. I'm sticking with Florence and Rachel.
Alexei is David Harbour.
Right. And he's got an obsession with Captain America. Like, he thinks he's a big enemy.
He is the only one of them with superpowers. He's a super soldier. He is the Russian answer to Captain America, except for he was active in the period that Captain America was missing.
But he had dinner with them.
Drinks with them.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think he said he had a fight with him in the 80s, and one guy was like, he was frozen, dude. And
that's during the moment. That's during the moment where he's getting a tattoo on his back in arm wrestling.
Yes.
Which I don't care. Like, he can be as strong as he wants. That's fine. the tattoo artist isn't going to make a good tattoo if you're arm wrestling.
But he did, the tattoo artist did keep on making this face like, God damn it, dude.
I know. And it's just like, why would he do this? Doesn't he want the tattoo to look good? It's permanent, man.
I think he had gotten to a point where he just did not care because they kind of just threw him away. Like he was a superstar, and he probably asked the wrong people the wrong questions or something. I know they gave some kind of bullshit reason to it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, probably got caught on camera doing something.
Yeah, a golden shower or something.
Release the tape, Putin. Do it.
So anyhow, Alexei, he's rotting in prison, probably for doing nothing. And and for some reason, Yelena and Natasha decide they have to get the band back together. So there's this big prison break scene.
Yeah, I feel like they thought he knew the location of Ray Winstone. Yeah.
Draco.
Yeah, he had a name. Draco. Yeah. I was gonna say maybe his character wasn't Russian, but I don't know. he was named Draco.
No last name on IMDb though.
That's probably Weinstein. I mean, he is like tit for tat a Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, he
thing,
does.
Which I like. Again, I like that call out. Again, it's like it's a good message, but like the film around it is just, in my opinion, shoehorned. Like it's just there wasn't a lot of heart behind it.
It didn't need to happen. I'll say that.
Yeah,
it didn't need to happen. Like her story's already been told in this universe. But that's the shame about it, because like I feel like if it had come out in the time period that it's set, I would appreciate this movie a little bit more, especially if it would have furthered the universe, like you said.
If placed after Civil War, it doesn't really further the universe still. It just develops her character more.
Right.
And so, like, that would feel right if we didn't know where her character was going. So that would, that would have been the great opportunity. And now, with her character no longer going anywhere, it's like, I don't know. It's like, why did you do this at this time period? Because it barely furthers a dead character. Like, it doesn't develop a dead character. So, and so the only reason would be to set up other things for the MCU to build off of.
And it really didn't feel like it was doing that until that scene at the end. So there is a scene at the end for anyone listening. Just stay tuned to the end.
And I will say, if you are in the theaters and don't have Disney Plus, don't stay until the end, because all it is Marvel saying, by the way, if you want to enjoy this cutscene, you're going to have to buy Disney Plus to see where it goes. And so it's just, I don't know, it kind of just like feels like a buy our products film.
Right. It definitely brings in some elements that happen in the Falcon Winter Soldier show. I wanted to call it Captain Falcon so bad.
Yeah. I know, right? but it also sets up slight spoilers, everybody. It also sets up their Hawkeye show. They're doing a Hawkeye.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing that
show. Yeah, so it's setting that up.
That'd be interesting
because Florence Pugh is going to be back for that show.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not keeping up with the news, so
they released like 14 shows that are going to follow Loki, and like I think that's the perfect segue. We just finished watching Loki. That's where we're at, and. To date this episode, so sorry. But we had just talked about how we're happy that it feels like they're kind of revitalizing this universe because Endgame kind of felt like an end. It felt like a perfect capping point to a long story. Right. And then they were like, we're going to keep going. That was just, that was the first arc. We're going to do more arcs. And it's like, well, that's going to get really boring because, as you said, it kind of felt like it was growing stale.
Right.
And that's what Black Panther feels like. It feels like one of their staler films. It feels like, Ant-Man was nice,
Widow,
but...
you mean?
Oh, yeah, that's what
okay, I was going to say, I really liked that movie, the Black Panther.
Wait, what did I
movie.
say?
You said Black Panther.
Did I say Black Panther?
Yeah, I was
Jesus.
I was like, oh, really? I mean, it did have a very similar storyline to Ragnarok, but...
Yeah, I do. I really did like Black Panther. I completely... Jesus. I really did like Black Panther. I meant to say Black Widow. Yeah, Black Widow, I feel like, is one of their stale films.
Not give Black Cat a movie, otherwise you're never going to get it straight.
But she's the one I want to get a movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that.
Spider-Man and the Black Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. But as we were saying, though, the Black Widow, though, does feel like one of their staler films. It feels like it's not as bad as the Thor films, except for Ragnarok. Ragnarok's amazing.
Thor films, yeah.
Yeah, Thor the Dark World is where I'm talking around. It's not as bad as that.
No, it's not.
Not. And it's nowhere near as bad as Incredible Hulk. Like, you gotta remember that's part of the MCU canon with Edward Norton. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at Edward Norton.
I can't wait till we do the Marvel playlist. That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh man, that will be fun. We should do it by phases because otherwise we'll just die if we do it all at once.
I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about Black Widow feeling stale.
Yes.
I mean, I guess there's not really much else to say without talking spoilers about this. Actually, there is one other big subject that your wife brought up that I also wanted to talk about, which was they make the abusive family into the heroes.
Yeah.
And it seems like a really weird, disjointed message. Because, like, I know what they're going for. They're going for, like, family's important. Family means a lot. You can always, you should be able to rely on your family or strengthen your family. But these family members...
They're not family.
Yeah, they're not family. They sent them into... I mean, they even talk explicitly, again, for the second time in the Marvel Universe, about how the Black Widow and their other spies like her, their reproductive organs have been removed.
Right.
They can't have kids. This is the second time we're going to focus on this in a Marvel movie because they did it. I think it was also Age of Ultron.
They draw a lot from Age of Ultron. They do talk about the island a lot. The city, though, that is. She dropped cities. Oh, no, wait, that was you. that was you. That was watching.
Me. Also, you saying she dropped cities, which, again, was a quote from me when we were watching the movie. But you saying that brought to mind another thing. They really liked to drop Black Widow a shit ton in this film. Like, that's so cruel. That's how she died in Endgame. Yeah. She fell. And in this movie, she falls like 5 times. And it's just like... And like, there's one where she like falls from the top of a building and hits like 10 things on the way down and then lands on her feet. And then she's like, ooh. But she keeps going. I'm just like, all right. So once you know that you die in the future, I guess you're just good to fall off of buildings and you're fine.
We know she doesn't die here.
It's so stupid, yeah. And then there's like 2 car accidents as well that are just ridiculously bad. Like, you would not survive these car accidents, but she just like walks out with like maybe a little bit of blood on her nose, and she's like, "I'm all right."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do recall like
fucking hell.
I do recall Scarlett Johansson talking. She was a big part of the production and
yeah, she was
everything of this story, and she was really proud about like her control over the wardrobe and stuff like that, because they didn't she doesn't want to overly sexualize the character, but we all noticed that her Black Widow costume was a lot tighter than Florence Pugh's.
Right. And there were a couple butt shots I remember.
There were a couple, but it wasn't egregious. Yeah. There was nothing egregious about it.
Yeah, I don't remember there being anything egregious.
That all of her outfits were a lot more form-fitting. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. I mean, you said specifically you didn't want to do that. But
I think it was to call attention to Florence Pugh's vest, because we finally answered the question of where Black Widow gets her vest.
Yeah.
That was a very important question that we needed answered.
It has so many pockets.
I was just dying to figure out where Black Widow got the vest that she had in Infinity War and Endgame. I'm so happy we got that answer. This is sarcasm, by the way. I know you can't see my face, but maybe you can hear it in my tone. I thought it was just fucking stupid. It seemed like the only reason for the whole movie.
That Florence Pugh's involvement in the vest was stupid. That shit was hilarious.
But like them making a big deal of like her giving the vest to the Black Widow, I was just like, oh my god, like we get it. Like that's obviously where she got the fucking vest. Damn it. I mean, I guess I can lead into closing statements with that because I don't know if there's more to talk about without spoiling things. I give it 2.5 stars. Obviously, it's completely out of place in regards to when they should have released it. That's fine. I'm still happy Black Widow got a film. You know, she definitely deserved one. Now, Mark Ruffalo, all you have to do is have the Hulk killed, and you can get your own film. But they're doing a She-Hulk show, which I'm very excited about. So I'm sorry, Mark Ruffalo. Maybe you can tag along on that show, but
it's
I'm really excited for that.
It's going to be a series instead of a movie.
I hope I said that. Yes, that is what it's going to be. It's going to be a show. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. One of their big releases in a couple years.
I'm totally down for Buff Lawyer Chick. I'm totally down.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to die. That's all you got to do. You just got to get the Hulk killed, which is a very difficult task, but just figure out how to do it in the next Avengers movie, and you'll get your own movie, buddy.
There's so many strange, stupid things in the Hulk world that I really want them to go into, and they're just never going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he can become a villain. That's the great thing about the Hulk. Like, I mean, the Logan, the movie Logan, it's based off the comic Logan, in which the Hulk is actually seen as a villain. He makes an appearance as a villain in that, and that's really cool. I want them to do this.
It's pretty gross too. Like,
yeah, it's really gross.
If you haven't read it, like, the Hulk has a bunch of redneck Hulk children, and it's gross. Yeah, it's kind of Hills Have Eyesy.
And he likes to eat things.
Yeah.
But I give, as I said, I give Black Widow 2.5 stars. It's directed by Kate Shortland, who, from my knowledge, has basically done a bunch of nothing stuff. You know, I watched, to out myself a tiny bit, I watched Half in the Bag's cover review of this film. I love Half in the Bag. They're one of my favorite movie critics.
Red Letter Media.
Yeah, Red Letter Media. Their movie review, though, is Half in the Bag. So, you know, I will say again, like us, 2 older white men talking films. We're not old, but, you know.
But we're going to call them old.
Well, I'm going to call them old. They're in their 40s.
Jesus, they're going to come after us now.
No, they won't. They will never even hear about us. Not unless you all like our Patreon, which we'll go into that before we move on to the Tomorrow War. But, you know, Kate Shortland's directing, as I was saying, like, you know, they did research into her, and they discovered that she had done basically like one type of story so well that they thought that Disney had plugged a formula into the internet to search for a director, and her name came up because, like, she has done a lot of like smaller films that are vague shadows of what Black Widow was.
Huh.
You know, so it kind of seemed like they're just like, we want this element, we want this element, we want this element. All right, which director does that get us? And Kate Shortland's name popped up, and they're like, all right, because she hasn't done anything worth really grabbing your attention for a big Marvel film like this. So just kind of a weird director choice. I mean, she does a good job in regards to Florence and between Florence and Black Widow's acting, that's good. You can tell during the action scenes, as again, this is a note coming from Half in the Bag and Red Letter Media, not from me, but you can tell that the action scenes were done by a different director. Sometimes you have that kind of stuff where you'll have one director come in for action and another director come in for just character, and so it feels like she did most of the character stuff. And for that, I give her applause. Like, her and Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, their chemistry, the whole family's chemistry is pretty good.
Yeah,
even though they're not a real family. We did complain about like the story element part of it, but all 4 of those actors do have some great scenes together. It's just like, as an audience member, you're sitting back and being like, "What the fuck?" Like, don't trust these people. Right. It's a very weird trusting call, but.
Yeah.
I guess my final statement, because my closing statement's running off for 5 minutes now, but it's overall a worthwhile film. It has some enjoyment that you can get out of it. I don't really know if I would recommend it to anybody who is not a devout lover of the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. Like, if you're one of those MCU followers, you're like, I have to see every movie. Obviously, You're already going to watch this one, and it's going to be fine for you. if you're not really a fan of superhero films in any way, if you don't like spy films in any way, or if you just don't like Scarlett Johansson or the Black Widow, just stay away. Like, it's not worth your time. Like, it's an easily passable film.
They waited too long, and they kept on waiting. Dear God, did they keep on waiting? I'm going to give this movie a full face. I did actually, honestly, have quite a bit of enjoyment watching it. That was mostly because of Florence Pugh and David Harbour, though, I'm going to say. Scarlett Johansson did a fine job. I know she worked really hard on this movie, but I just feel like she was a little outshone by her co-stars. And that's okay. Honestly, that's a good thing. I mean, it means that they picked good co-stars.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have to rush out and watch this movie. It'll be on Disney Plus eventually, and then you can watch it
in like a month or so.
Yeah,
it'll be free, and then wait until it's free. Don't spend the $30. Don't spend the $20 in gas. Wait until it's free.
Yeah. Speaking of in a month from now, I honestly don't know what day this is coming out, but once a month we do an episode for our patrons called the Potato Pick. If you go to patreon.com/greenandfaceless, you can become a patron for only $2. Higher tiers give you great merchandise opportunities and the ability to recommend the selection for the Potato Pick. But $2, 50 cents a show, gets you the right to vote on what we do on that monthly episode for our patrons. So that, if you're interested, and we'll always do this show for free.
That's right.
But your support gets us through the day. It helps pay for the show. You know, we're at a hobby point of the show, really, but it is very close to you guys helping us pay for the actual services, the once a year fees that we have. So we really appreciate you guys for that. And if you want to show your support, please come on down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless.
Yes, greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. We love having your ears.
Yep, your little spud ears.
Your little spud ears. Some people call them eyes, but we call them ears. We know better on Gorsh.
We know better. It's all a matter of perception, and they're just the potato perceivers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Tomorrow War.
Oh boy, let's talk about it. I'll let you synopsize, but I wanted to say up front that it's directed by Chris McKay. My dog's whining in the background. Lovely Zelda. It's directed by Chris McKay, who was the director of the Lego Movie. He was the co-director of the Lego Movie, and he was the director of Lego Batman.
Oh.
And he is attached to the upcoming Nightwing film, the live-action Nightwing film. Oh. And if you don't know, I don't know if I've waxed poetic yet on this podcast, my favorite comic book character is Dick Grayson, Nightwing. I love him. He is my favorite of all time. Sexy little acrobat. I love him. So I'm excited to see Chris McKay direct Nightwing. From this movie, I don't know how much that excitement, is like concerned excitement,
if the whole movie's like the first half of this movie.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, throughout his directing is fine. It's just the story that is just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened? Okay, though I'll have to argue a little bit against that. Maybe it's like two fucking different movies got spliced together, man. It really is. It's jarring.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie, Chris Pratt, Dan Forrester. He is a veteran who I guess was in some kind of secret ops kind of thing. Rescue missions, as I recall. But he is now a science high school teacher, but he's trying to become a scientist in a lab somewhere.
Yes.
He has a daughter named Murray Forrester with his wife, Emmy, and all of a sudden, travelers from the future, I think 30 years in the future, right? I think that's right.
Roughly. I think it's like 27.
They come back and they're like, hey, Earth is going to be annihilated and we're running out of people. It's not a human threat. We need people from the past to come to the future and fight for us. And it gets so bad that they start a draft, and Dan gets reinstated. So they bring him to the future, and their tour is only 7 days. It's a week-long tour, but
only like 2% come back.
That's right. Only 2% come back. So not only is the population of the future suffering, but so is the population of the current timeline. Whatever the fuck that means in this sense. Crazy time travel show.
And get this, people. You find out, and it's a very small spoiler, so I don't mind putting this before the spoiler wall. You find out that like they're choosing people. You find out really early. They're choosing people who aren't alive in 30 years, like when the war's going on.
Right.
And they kind of hint that that's because of like, it might be a paradox to have two of us alive at the same time. You know what's also a paradox? Going back into the past and ruining the last 30 years before war happens. Pretty sure that's going to fuck some shit up. Like... if you think about it, I'm pretty sure a whole portal opening up and a bunch of people pouring out from the future who weren't there 30 years ago in your future time period is a paradox.
Yes, exactly. It is very, very strange. It breaks a lot of the conventions that we're used to being hard, fast rules in our sci-fi, I feel like, when it does that. But I think like they explain it away with the help of, I believe it's Sam Richardson, Charlie, I believe.
Ooh, yeah. He's great. He's great. The sidekick character?
Yeah, he is kind of a sidekick character, and he's also very much into science, or at the very least science fiction, and he befriends Dan, and they start theorizing things together. And one of the things is that the reason why their trainers are so young is because they have not been born yet in the current time period, the past of these two timelines.
Yeah, and I want to say, just like with Florence Pugh, Sam Richardson is a fucking phenomenal supporting character. Like he is hilarious. I love him.
Yeah, he does great.
But Chris Pratt, unlike Scarlett Johansson, I mean, no offense to Scarlett Johansson, she did a great job in her film. She didn't outshine Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh outshined her. Right. But Chris Pratt here, he does still carry the film. He is still like definitely the center of attention, and I am the father. He's doing everything he can to be that father hero. I mean, he's doing the exact same that we've seen in like Jurassic World films, so it's nothing new for him.
So let me ask you a question here, because another great supporting character is played by Yevgeny Strahovski, who plays the Colonel. Do you think mentioning who they are is a spoiler?
Yeah, I guess we should say that for the spoiler wall.
Okay. Well, anyhow. He goes to the future to fight, and things are going to shit right away. A lot of the people die like immediately because they portal them above a swimming pool on a roof. Some people missed the roof entirely, and he just barely landed in the swimming pool because they're like 20 feet above it.
They apparently fucked up the coordinates, is what they say.
Right.
And like it doesn't make sense because like as they mention in the future, they only have one connection. You go here and you go here, 30 different years apart. Both of those gates travel forward in time, but they're both located at the same area. So from that logic, I mean, I guess they might be able to send people. I guess that's what they're saying, is they're able to send people to other coordinates that aren't those specific time machines, physical locations. I know this is getting confusing, but that's time travel for you, y'all. But like they mentioned just briefly that they fucked up the coordinates, and that's why they all just got teleported into this fucking pool.
It doesn't make any sense though.
But like, they never. Maybe they explained it in passing, and I just completely missed it. But I don't think they don't explain why the coordinates got fucked up.
I kept on waiting for them to say that the alien creatures, what do they call them? White wolves?
White something.
White snakes. They call them white snakes because I remember I was like the hair metal band.
White Claws.
What is it? White Claws?
That's the alcoholic drink.
Yeah. Okay, but anyhow,
that's what I'm gonna call
the
them
white
now.
snakes, the
Claws.
white fangs. They come in and they. I thought that they were gonna say that they're more intelligent than they seem, and they somehow messed up the coordinates. But that's not it. They're just fast breeding, all consuming creatures that it's not like that they haven't been done before. I did like the design of the creature.
Yeah, the design was pretty nice.
It was kind of an amalgamation of different sci-fi monsters that we've come across, but they had, I believe, 8 limbs. They walked on 4, and then they weren't pincers, but they were very strong limbs, and then little tiny ones that they can just grab things with that were almost vestigial. And
then 2 tentacle-like things that shot barbs.
Oh yeah. They were almost like tails, but they shot barbs out. Yeah. So it was a pretty cool monster design.
Yeah, I like it. It's interesting, and then it implies it makes for some really cool action scenes. The action's fun in this.
Yeah. There's also some weird poaching that makes no sense to me. What was his character's name? It wasn't Major Greenwood, was it? I don't know. He was one of the guys who made it to the end with them, though. I think it was played by Keith. He was played by Keith Powers. But
was he the guy who they weren't souvenirs, but they were definitely souvenirs?
Yes.
That guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that they were taking them back to the past and selling them. So they were doing some poaching and stuff. And it was super weird to me. And then apparently it was these people's 3rd or 4th tour or something like that. And it's I don't know. I don't understand why they would keep on bringing the same people in. I guess if they're talented enough.
Yeah, they explained why they came back though.
Yeah, he did have a good actual character moment and reasoning why he hated them so much.
And why he kept coming back for the tour too.
Yes. But the poaching thing never really came full circle. That really didn't need to come into play at all, I don't think. Because it just tried to complicate things. It seemed like it was going to make a bit, branch off into this wider world that's going on in the future, but it does not.
Yeah. Because
the last 40 of the minutes of the movie, we find out are that's a spoiler. I can't do that.
Yeah, he's a weird character. It definitely felt like an inclusion just to make him more hateable.
Yeah.
For that period of in the film, before you got to know his character.
Yeah.
So it's I agree with you. I didn't like that stuff either. Him having the claw necklace, that's fine.
That was fine.
That was
if
cool.
He had a trophy from a kill, that's one thing.
Didn't add anything, and this movie is already 2 hours and 20 fucking minutes long. So yeah, that's a cutting room floor decision there. Come on, Chris McKay.
God. So I feel like that was basically the synopsis of this movie.
Yeah, for the first half, but we can't talk about the second half until behind the spoiler wall. So I agree. If you're ready for the spoiler wall,
let's build a wall. We haven't built a wall in a while.
We haven't built a wall in a while, everybody. It's the first wall in a long time. I've gotten lazy with the walls because fuck your ears.
It's more work.
This is a spoiler wall. To skip beyond the unimaginable. Skip 3 minutes and 5 seconds past the hour.
But here we are. We're safe behind the wall at last. And so we could talk spoilers about this just weird fucking movie, The Tomorrow War.
So the first thing to just talk about, in case you haven't watched the movie, is that Giovanni Starhovsky plays Colonel Murray Forrester, his daughter, in this future timeline. And she's basically the head honcho of what's going on. Because there's so few people left.
Well, she's just like her dad. She's a scientist too.
Right.
And, she's working on finding a toxin, a poison to the White Claws. I'm calling them White Claws. So she's working on that. And that's her whole goal throughout the film, is finding this toxin so that we could win the war.
Yeah.
And Yeah, she is the daughter from the future, which once they like immediately, I don't know, because even when she was talking to Chris Pratt over the microphone, like when they were just on walkies and Chris Pratt was in the field, I for some reason thought she was in the past timeline and speaking to him through some kind of like weird wormhole thing, like they were still like connected, even though there's 30 years difference. It's like I didn't put together that she was in the real world until she like showed up when he was there, and I was like, oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
I'm just stupid.
She did, because I feel like she does look rather young, and all those people that they sent to the past to collect people for the Tomorrow War were super young. So I feel like maybe that's where you got.
Well,
confused.
I mean, also, she was in the same room as one of the women who was doing the controls for sending them back and forth in the past, and I thought that person was in the past. But I guess there might have been two controllers. You know, there's one in the past, one in the future, and she was just in the room of the one in the future's control room.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just got confused with the timeline there. I just thought she was in the past for some stupid fucking reason. It makes no sense when you think about it.
They don't really explain the tech at all.
No, I mean it's held together by.
That's about it.
Yeah. It's a machine held together by rubber bands and glue, and like it's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's dumb. It both gates travel forward in time. Like you can't go back further. You can't go back to the very point when the White Claws started attacking everything.
Right.
It's mayhem. The only goal, forget about all possible solutions. The only goal is to find a specific poison to kill these things.
Right.
That's it. That's our only goal.
And they do that by collecting a queen of the White Claws.
At the cost of a lot of their men.
At a cost of a lot of people. And then I don't remember exactly what happens to fuck that all up and that she gets loose. But anyways, the facility that they're at gets attacked by the white snakes.
Yep.
So they're kind of rushing along, and he's like, oh, we got to make more of this. And she's like, there's no time. We got to get you out of here. And he's like, I'm not going without you because you're my daughter. And she's like, I'm already dead, you dummy. And I won't die. I won't die if you go back. And he's like, but what happens to you?
Yeah. It's like, what happens to her is she's dead.
She's dead.
Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I know this is a terribly difficult decision. Yeah, and she's given you the toxin to go back in the past and wide release this shit so that when the White Claws attack, you guys are all more prepared.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Go do it. You know the plan.
Like, everything starts blowing up around you. The jump's going to happen any second. Oh no, Muri fell off the bridge. She's going to die like I knew she was going to die. Let's risk everything and jump after her.
One of the dumbest decisions I've seen in like cinema this year, I will say. I mean, I'm sure I've seen dumber decisions, but like that was one of the dumbest character decisions I've seen all fucking year, because he is holding in his hand the toxin to save the past and save humanity. All he's got to do is stand perfectly still until the jump happens.
Right.
Then he's fine. He
just
goes home
die.
And he saves humanity. Just don't die.
Just don't
His
die.
daughter falls, and he jumps off to save her.
And that is the turning point of the movie. That is where this becomes a completely different movie for me.
That's where Greg hit the toggle switch and was like, there's 45 minutes left? I thought it's already been 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I know.
We still have 45 minutes left?
It's crazy. He gets pulled back into the past. And that honestly should have been the end of the movie. That could have been the end of the movie. And then they could have done a sequel if they wanted to.
And expand the next 45 minutes into another hour and a half to 2 hour movie. 100% agree with you.
But they did not do that. And whoever wrote this last 45 minutes, man.
Zach Dean. Never heard of him.
I'm sorry. I'm going to rip on you a little bit because the first half of your movie, and this could have been producers. A lot of producers get their hands in there and like, oh, I want to see this, or wouldn't it be better if this happened? Or we're not going to give you a sequel, so you better fit it all in one movie. I could see that happening. But the second half of this movie, he goes back to the past and he tries to get this information out there to this political person. And the political person's like, we can't do that. It's in the middle of Russia. So he gets his dad involved, his off-the-grid dad involved, J.K. Simmons. And he and Charlie, and I think Major Greenwood would go with him, or is he already dead at this point? I can't remember.
Yeah, Major Greenwood goes with them. So does Sam Richardson and Major Greenwood's team. He has some friends that are with them, I believe.
I just remember it's just the three of them that survive, though.
Yeah, but they have a small crew that gets picked off one by one, so it's a nice little tense moment.
They decide that they're going to go and prove that this thing is there by themselves. That's
right.
well and good, because the American politician's not going to do anything without more evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all
what
well
they
and
said.
good.
If you bring back proof, we might be able to do more. As it stands, we can't invade Russia.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, and that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like that's how you have World War III. We're already so close, even though we all fought together on this future war thing. Whatever.
Exactly. So Dan, that's the name? Dan? Chris Pratt?
Yeah, Dan Forrester.
Yeah. Dan Forrester, such a manly name. Dan Forrester. Yeah, that's he manufactures the toxin into some more like gun shooty syringe kind of things.
Because he's a scientist.
Yeah, he doesn't mass produce it. He just makes enough to go there. Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't, like, when he was talking to that political guy, he's like, okay, well, here, just in case, this is the toxin that will kill them.
Right?
Yeah.
That would have been smart. That would have been great. Well, I mean, he says he brought back the toxin, so maybe they're implying that he already gave it to them and they've mass produced it.
Maybe.
I would hope. I don't know. I can't remember how it went. But we are forgetting one important character, and that is Volcano Kid. To figure out where they're at, where the aliens are at in Russia, because Dan and his wife, through I can't remember how, like through conversation they're talking, and they discover that the aliens aren't aliens at all. They were here on the planet. What a unique twist. That's not happened in a movie before. But they were here all along, and they've come up from underground. So, they're like, all right, let's figure out where their ship crashed or whatever, or like where their habitat is. And Volcano Kid, who is a student of Chris Pratt's that we meet like right at the beginning, and all he wants to do is talk about volcanoes. He's like, hey, that's like ash from such and such volcano eruption, which could only be like located in this specific spot in Russia, and that's how they know to go to Russia.
Right.
And
right. I think it might have been slightly the other way around. Like there was this kind of ash that was from a certain place found in Russia.
Gotcha.
And he said, oh, that must have been this eruption, and that's how they found out how long that they've been in here.
Right. And then when they get there, they discover that the aliens were sent by another alien race and that they were like supplanted here, like their ship crashed or whatever. I can't remember how it goes. But the thing is, they've been here for like hundreds of years, and that's how... now that the Earth is melting, because there's a global warming message to this film, I guess, which is, I'm laughing, but it's true, people. Global warming's a thing. God damn it! Like, look it up. Climate change makes sense. There's a lot of evidence behind it. Start recycling and be a better person. You fuck.
Yeah, consider alternatives to emissions.
Yes, look into the electric vehicle. Do it. Solar panels. Do it now.
Do it now. Everybody's solar panel now.
But yeah, I guess that's a background message in this film. But yeah, now that the Earth's melting, that's when the creatures come out, because the ice that they're trapped deep down inside or whatever has thawed in 30 years, and then they come out and take over the world. And so our gang is like, let's blow up the ice to figure out where their spaceship is and get in there and kill these things.
Yeah, so like what I was saying is like going there and finding evidence. That's all well and good. But then they decide that they're going to go and take care of it themselves. They're all vets.
After discussing it.
I mean, yeah.
after a long discussion about it too, it's like, all right, let's weigh the pros and benefits. Here's the pros. If we tell the government, then they can mass produce the toxin, come here with a bunch of armies, again, maybe cooperate with all the nations again in a big effort and make a big push to end these creatures for good. And yes, when we involve the politicians, it's going to take time. They're slow decision makers. It's going to take years.
They're still frozen.
We have 27 years, guys.
You know exactly when they come out. You know,
we got 27 fucking years, guys.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, their presence there might change the timeline a little bit, but that's what you cover in your sequel. So, you know, like the plan could be like taking a long time because of the political nonsense. That could be a part of the conflict in your sequel.
Exactly. But quickly, let's weigh plan B. Let's weigh what happens if we go in and we destroy these creatures.
We all
the consequences. If we all die, there goes the toxin. And we've awakened the creatures, so now that they're coming out early and the world's unprepared completely.
Nobody invented time travel yet with their rubber bands and chewing gum.
Exactly. So let's weigh these two options, Blake. Should we alert the government, or let's call that the responsible choice?
Okay.
And let's call the other one the dumbass decision.
Okay.
Which should we do?
Well, you know what? I don't really trust the government. I'm gonna take the irresponsible dumbass choice with my guns and go on in there with my dad and have some kick-ass moments. I mean,
Son
dude,
of a bitch.
The fucking one-liners in the ending of this movie.
Yeah, it definitely felt like we got to wrap this up. Like Chris McKay and everybody else on the set was like, "Why are we doing this?" And J.K. Simmons is like, "So I have a part."
And I feel like Chris Pratt, I think, was one of the producers. I could be wrong.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing his name under the producers list. Anyhow, I feel like wanted to be able to have some of these badass moments, because that definitely seems like, at least knowing him as Andy Dwyer, a lot of the times when he was like throwing kicks and shit, I couldn't see anything but his alias in that show of Johnny Karate. That's all I could see. And it was fun for me. It was a lot of fun. I can't say I did not enjoy watching it.
Yeah, it was doofy as shit.
It was just so funny. And like the first huge chunk of this movie, though, was so serious. Like there was laughs, like from Charlie.
It was a war.
But it was a war movie, and it was a good sci-fi. They took a good sci-fi, which honestly had a pretty good ending already, and then they just
it was decent. Like
this big goofy thing. I just don't understand.
I would have walked away if they had cut it at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
if they had just cut it there, I would have walked away saying, good explored concept, has some stupid plot holes, a little bit derivative of other films. Not too bad. A lot of fun still. Yeah, I would have given it 3 stars. Tack the ending on. Now I don't want to. I don't know if we're ready for closing statements, but like it's not getting 3 stars anymore. I'll say.
All right. I think though we are. I don't know what else to talk about. I just know that we had to get some of that out there. Maybe it's time to drop the ball.
All right. I agree with you. Let's drop it and let's close. And to close, I give it 2.5 stars. It doesn't drop much further. The ending is ridiculous and silly, but it's not. It's still enjoyable. There's still some laughs that can be had that are not meant. It's a little too long, being 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like we said, cut it about 1 hour 45. Whenever that obvious end is, and you'll know it if you watch this film. You know when the stopping point is.
Right.
But they just had to have a father-son hunt, shall I say? And It's weird. It's very weird. But it's again, even that being wildly different and jarring was still not bad. it just didn't fit what the rest of the film was, and lumping them together was just very weird. Still overall, I would say I kind of recommend it if you just want to have a fun sci-fi time. Like if you've enjoyed, like, let's say Aliens versus Predators, like it's got that kind of like we're in it for the fun kind of feel. Even though the first half is a war film, it's still monster concept.
Yeah, the second half has that feeling that you just described.
Yeah, the Aliens versus Predator feel, right? So it's like the first half is like a derivative of Independence Day, and the second half is Aliens versus Predators.
Well, I give it. I honestly, I can't give it less than a face because I honestly enjoyed it so much. But I just can't believe the turn that this movie takes. I just don't understand how that happened.
Right.
Like if the rest of the movie was that goofy, I think I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I did enjoy it. I think that I would have thought it was a better movie, though. If it was
would have
goofy
meshed
throughout.
well.
They needed to pick which tone they wanted. It's two different tones in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Or just have a sequel, like I said about a bazillion times.
Yeah, from what I've read, it might be getting a sequel.
Really?
It might still be.
Really?
That's what makes it hard for me to choose between these two films because, like, again, I enjoyed both of them. I laughed at both of them. They're both competent films, have decent messages. Well, I mean, Black Widow has a decent message. Tomorrow War has a decent sci-fi concept.
Right.
I shoehorned a climate change message in there, which I'm sure they were going for maybe, but it's not really well done if they were.
No, they did not. They did not lean on it hard enough. Like sometimes when you got a message in a movie, they lean on it too hard. They did not even come close to the threshold.
But the problem is I enjoyed the Tomorrow War more, and Black Widow had that, the violent family becoming the heroes kind of thing, which I've always hated. I hate those kind of messages. Like, I really just kind of hate that. But I mean, it has another good message with, Harvey Weinstein and overcoming that jackass. Right. So I don't know. It's really hard for me to choose these films. I think I know which one you might choose. But
honestly, I don't know, man. God. So I'm having a hard time too, man.
It's a hard decision to make.
So are you throwing your lots in with the Tomorrow War?
I hate to do that to Black Widow, but
here's the problem.
You know what? I'm going to base it off of the supporting characters. I'm going to put Sam Richardson up against Florence Pugh.
And that's
how I'm going to make this decision. Yeah, Florence Pugh wins, so it goes to Black Widow, and that's how I'll decide it.
Okay, so I think that Black Widow...
Because I would rewatch both of these movies.
Yeah, I'd rewatch either of them. You're right, I would.
Yeah.
So I think Black Widow was a more competent movie, just because, goddamn, that mood shift is just so jarring. But that also is a very unique aspect to this movie. And it is part of the reason why I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it is really hard to say. And because this is a stay or go, and Black Widow is our go option, I'm going to go say, watch the Tomorrow War for free. It is a unique experience. This does not happen in movies every day.
Yeah. That's true. It's on Amazon Prime for free, and with Black Widow, you'd have to pay probably a lot of money to see it. Like
and
$30
we say for free,
like
but
$20.
If you have Amazon Prime already, go watch it. You're already paying for it, so you might as well.
Right, $8 versus $20 at the theater or $30 on your couch. So
right, plus the subscription amount to watch it on your couch. I'm sorry to make you think about it that way, Greedy. But
it's true. It's like $37 then for Black Widow. I would have paid $37 happily for Luca. For Black Widow.
Yeah.
Disney, what the fuck you making me pay for the wrong movies for? Come on,
because they know they'll get people to pay for Marvel. That's it.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah, Marvel's a show.
And they didn't want to drop two so close together. That's probably the whole reason why Luca was
fair.
Just an ad.
But in the Marvel boat, Couch Potatoes, you can expect to hear us talking about Loki soon.
Very
I'm
soon.
sure there'll be maybe another TV show in there. I can't remember what their television schedule is, but between Loki, I guess the next movie would be Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man film.
When does that? Man, I can't remember what it's called. It's going on to Disney Plus though. I think it's a movie, but it's like one of the martial arts characters. I can't remember. It's the Nine Rings.
Oh,
it's the Nine Rings.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Can't recall. I got the internet in front of me, but I'm too lazy. I think
maybe we'll get the actual Mandarin.
Maybe that would be good. That would be better than
Kingsley.
Trevor, whatever his name was.
Yeah, he wasn't the Mandarin.
No.
Spoilers.
So, secret review of Iron Man 3. I think that's our show for the day.
I've been the Green Traveler.
And I'm the Faceless Leo. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the Fiction Works 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.